Hi everyone. Today, we'll talk about an important but less talked about part of narcissistic behavior, how they act when you don't pursue them after a breakup. Have you ever thought about what happens when you stop playing their games of control? You'll see how angry and frustrated they get when you don't give them the attention and approval they want. Even though they treat you badly, they expect you to look for their praise. What will happen if you stop playing their game? Your silence shows their flaws and fears, which rejects their manipulative ways. We're going to talk about how much narcissists depend on how other people react and how strongly they feel when things don't go their way. We'll find out how weak and desperate they really are behind their cocky front. Come with us as we talk about how to deal with the power struggles and mental turmoil that come with narcissism. Before we go any further, let's talk about how important it is to keep supporting these conversations. Your comments, likes, shares, and subscriptions help build a community of people who understand each other and share useful information with people who might need it. Let's look at how narcissism affects relationships, especially how narcissists try to stay in charge when relationships stop. They plan to change the time of things to avoid being rejected, which helps them stay in charge of the relationship. Being aware of these behaviors helps us handle these kinds of situations with strength and clarity. Figuring out narcissists' habits not only helps us understand how they work, but it also protects us from being emotionally manipulated. Let's go on this journey together and try to get smarter and stronger as we go. Narcissists often view others as dependent on them, bolstering their sense of superiority and control. They expect relentless pursuit to stroke their ego and validate their self-importance. When you fail to meet these expectations, it enrages them, as they thrive on your reactions, even negative ones, to feel validated. When you deny them this, they feel exposed and hurt. The lasting pain continues because they no longer have control over you, you're no longer there to manage their feelings. They start to blame you for their own unhappiness, convinced that your lack of response is the cause. In their view, you become the enemy, seemingly causing harm by not meeting their expectations. It's a distorted perspective, but it's how they see things. Despite their wrongdoings, lying, cheating, devaluing, and abandoning you, they start to see themselves as the ones who are hurt. They feel wounded because you're no longer enduring pain for their sake, no longer sacrificing yourself as before. Understanding the mindset of narcissists can be perplexing for those unfamiliar with it. They are entirely focused on themselves, their desires, needs, and wants. Recognizing this can improve interactions with them and shed light on their behavior. When confronted with their flaws or when their demands aren't met, narcissists often resort to manipulation tactics to maintain their sense of superiority and control. They may use gaslighting techniques to distort reality, making you question your own perceptions and emotions. This manipulation reinforces their narrative of victimhood and deflects any responsibility from themselves. Narcissists thrive on attention and validation. When they feel they're not receiving the admiration they believe they deserve, they may react strongly, resorting to behavior aimed at reclaiming the spotlight. These actions could range from dramatic displays to spreading gossip or undermining others to elevate themselves. Despite the harm they cause in relationships, narcissists often fail to grasp the impact of their actions. They excel at justifying their behavior, portraying themselves as misunderstood heroes in their own stories. This lack of self-awareness perpetuates a cycle of unhealthy behavior, hindering them from forming genuine connections based on mutual respect and understanding. In terms of self-reflection and accountability, narcissists typically take a different approach than most people. Instead of admitting their faults and trying to make amends, they tend to shift blame onto others, refusing to take responsibility for their actions. This lack of introspection makes it challenging to deal with narcissists as they repeatedly fail to learn from their mistakes. Although narcissists may express a desire to repair relationships, their efforts are often undermined by deep-seated resentment and a thirst for revenge. Despite outward attempts at reconciliation, they remain caught in a cycle of bitterness, alternating between obsessing over perceived wrongs and pretending indifference. This emotional roller coaster of anger, retaliation, and denial becomes a barrier to genuine progress and personal growth. In their quest to regain control or soothe their wounded ego, Narcissists may employ manipulative tactics such as hoovering to draw others back into their lives or rush into new relationships for validation. However, these efforts often fail as they inevitably return to feelings of frustration and self-pity, perpetuating dysfunction and hindering meaningful resolution. Driven by an insatiable need for validation and admiration, narcissists often react with intense anger to any perceived challenge to their ego or superiority. This anger is not fleeting but deeply ingrained, triggered by criticism or rejection. Their intolerance for anything that threatens their self-image can lead to various forms of aggression or manipulation. Furthermore, narcissistic anger is closely tied to their sense of entitlement and exaggerated self-importance. When they do not receive the admiration or compliance they believe they deserve, they may respond with fury, viewing it as a direct affront to their perceived superiority. This entitlement reinforces their belief that they are above criticism and entitled to special treatment, making it difficult for them to handle criticism or rejection without reacting angrily or seeking retaliation. In summary, understanding narcissistic anger involves recognizing the complex interplay between their fragile self-esteem, constant need for validation, and distorted sense of entitlement. By acknowledging these underlying dynamics, individuals can navigate interactions with narcissists more effectively, setting boundaries to protect themselves from manipulation while also showing empathy for the insecurities that drive narcissistic behavior. Your participation in our discussions is deeply valued. Thank you for being a valued member of our audience and for your insightful contributions. Greetings, esteemed readers. In this discourse, we shall explore the complex emotional landscape navigated by narcissists when their victims extricate themselves from their manipulative influence. Prior to delving into this intricate subject, I extend a cordial invitation for you to become part of our growing community by subscribing. By doing so, you not only arm yourself against the distress that plagues narcissists upon your departure, but also equip yourself with the essential knowledge to traverse this challenging journey. Let us embark on this path collectively. There exists a prevalent belief that narcissists remain emotionally unaffected when their victims liberate themselves from their control. Narcissists often project an image of unwavering confidence and self-assurance, leading to the perception that they are impervious to such events. However, it is imperative to acknowledge that while certain generalizations about narcissists may hold, individual experiences can differ markedly. When an individual successfully escapes the clutches of a narcissist, it often catches the latter completely off guard, triggering a profound and tumultuous emotional response that can be deeply unsettling. This analysis is not intended to advocate for granting second chances or to urge reconsideration of one's decision to leave. Rather, it seeks to highlight the reality that even narcissists experience considerable distress when someone chooses to depart from their influence. Recognizing this does not invalidate the legitimacy of your decision. On the contrary, it affirms the courage and strength required to leave, despite the significant pain endured. Let us address the unvarnished reality with candor. Narcissists subjected you to profound emotional suffering, leading you through a tumultuous journey that left lasting scars. You endured the severe consequences of their actions, their blatant disregard for trust, and their relentless violation of boundaries that should have been respected within your relationship. These distressing experiences compelled you to reach a breaking point and assert that enough was enough. By prioritizing your well-being, autonomy, and happiness, you made a deliberate decision to extricate yourself from the torment you had endured. This moment marks the beginning of a transformative journey of healing and self-discovery. It is an opportunity to reclaim your sense of self and rediscover the inner resilience that has always been within you. It is not uncommon for narcissists to be taken aback when they realize you have resolutely chosen to depart and sever all ties. It is akin to changing the passcode to your life, a necessary step to protect yourself. Once they comprehend that you are truly gone, many narcissists experience a tumultuous array of emotions. Initially, they may dismiss the reality, attempting to convince themselves that it is merely an ordinary breakup. They trivialize the significance of your departure, viewing it as a temporary setback. However, this denial gradually gives way to incredulity as the full weight of your absence becomes apparent. They struggle to accept the reality of your departure, resulting in a wave of bewilderment that leaves them disoriented and confounded. As the reality sets in, narcissists often resort to assigning blame. They become consumed by rage, directing accusations at you and asserting that you never truly loved or cared for them. Their fury intensifies as they question how you could abandon them in such a manner. Comparisons to others who have left them may emerge, unleashing their emotional turmoil. Exploring the complexities of narcissistic relationships reveals an intriguing truth. The narcissist's rapid transition to new sources of attention does not eliminate the emotions they once held for you. Extricating oneself from the entanglement of a past relationship is far from simple. It is not akin to flipping a switch. We have all moved forward in life while still grappling with lingering sentiments for former partners. Even amid new connections, thoughts may occasionally drift back to old flames, igniting moments of longing and nostalgia. This phenomenon explains why some narcissists hastily enter new relationships, attempting to outrun the emotional baggage from their past. However, the undeniable reality is that these deeply ingrained emotions remain unprocessed and unvoiced. Boasts within their new relationships often hint at the unresolved chapters of their history. It is perplexing to acknowledge that even as narcissists discard you and swiftly latch onto new sources of validation, or feign distress over your departure, their actions stem from profound inner turmoil. Let it be unequivocally clear. This analysis is not intended to manipulate or guilt-trip you into reconsidering a toxic relationship. Not in the slightest. It does not advocate for a return to that detrimental path. When narcissists witness your progress, they embark on an emotional roller coaster characterized by bewilderment, regret, and ultimately, fury. This rage propels them to become relentless, bombarding you with messages, unexpected visits, and incessant calls. Concurrently, they seek new sources of attention to fill the void left by your departure. When maintaining your distance from a narcissist, it is essential to understand that they do not experience shame. Rather, they rationalize their behaviors. In their distorted reality, they may assert that they have moved on because of your departure, yet secretly they yearn for your return. They will resort to any means, including obsessive behaviors, to reassert control over you. If their manipulative tactics fail, their anger only intensifies. It is crucial to recognize these patterns without allowing them to instill doubt regarding your choices or the potential for rekindling a toxic relationship. Your liberation and well-being must take precedence. Stand firm in your decision to break free and prioritize your mental and emotional health. Surround yourself with a robust support network and embark on a journey of healing and self-exploration. Exercise caution when dealing with a narcissist consumed by rage, as they can be unpredictably volatile. Should you need to extricate yourself from their influence, avoid announcing your departure, as even the slightest indication of your happiness or success without them could trigger a dangerous series of events. Upon finally slipping from their grasp, the narcissist's meticulously constructed facade begins to crumble, leaving them bewildered and disoriented. This deviation from their carefully choreographed narrative often fuels their fury, as they strive to deflect blame onto you. Throughout this journey, it is crucial to recognize that amidst the extreme reactions of a narcissistic individual, there may be elements of truth. However, navigating a relationship at this level is akin to traversing treacherous waters. Prepare for their emotional outbursts to reach unprecedented heights, as they have a tendency to push boundaries to the extreme. It is important to confront a stark reality. Upon your departure, narcissists may descend into profound despair. Some might resort to manipulative tactics, making alarming statements such as, "Ye, my despair may lead to a tragic end." In such instances, bearing this burden alone is not advisable. It is imperative to seek assistance from a mental health crisis hotline or alert the appropriate authorities for a wellness check. Prioritizing professional intervention is paramount to ensuring your safety and welfare, as direct involvement could inadvertently make you their next target. The critical lesson here is always to prioritize your safety and well-being. While empathy and compassion are commendable traits, it is equally vital to ensure that you possess the fortitude and support necessary to take appropriate action when dealing with a narcissist whose world is unraveling. They can become unpredictably volatile and, in certain scenarios, pose a threat. Their manifestations of distress, though appearing genuine, do not guarantee improved treatment or personal development. Instead, they reveal their fear of existing without your presence and their aversion to solitude. This lies at the core of the issue. Therefore, if you ever indicate intentions to depart, it is imperative to be prepared for the narcissist to plunge into a maelstrom of emotional upheaval. Indeed, their emotional volatility can escalate uncontrollably. Vigilance is crucial, and if their instability becomes unmanageable, readiness to take action, including involving authorities, is essential. Your safety and well-being must always take precedence. If you found yourself entangled with such an individual and shared children, you likely prepared for the possibility of them weaponizing the children, manipulating them to inflict emotional harm. It was a heartbreaking reality that demanded acknowledgement. As this narrative reaches its conclusion, it is crucial to underscore the paramount importance of staying informed and connected. This strategic approach serves as the ultimate means of retaliation against a narcissist. Have you ever felt the allure of seeking revenge on a narcissist? The temptation can be consuming, yet does it truly satisfy our craving for justice? More often than not, it leaves us feeling hollow and powerless, drowning in the toxicity of the narcissistic influence. The true remedy lies in maintaining distance and prioritizing personal growth. However, the temptation to retaliate is undeniable, a desperate attempt to reclaim the control stripped from us by the narcissist. Amidst this turmoil, we often overlook the simmering anger and pain within us. Society often overlooks the turmoil we endure, leaving us to navigate the agony alone. However, it is essential to embrace that anger. It is a potent emotion that speaks volumes about your resilience and fortitude. It marks the initial stride toward liberation from the narcissist's grip and provides an opportunity to unearth a superior version of yourself. Yet, tread cautiously, for unbridled rage can be equally destructive. It is time to rewrite our narrative, reclaim our authority, and reignite our existence. Move forward, growing stronger with each stride. Acknowledge your emotions and channel that energy to propel yourself toward triumph over those intent on causing you harm. Remember, the grip of one person's narcissism cannot quash the spirit of a resilient soul. We have all felt the weight of a narcissist's dominance, suffocated by a torrent of emotions and wounds. While our tales of silent anguish may seem solitary, they bind us together in shared experience. Let us unite, share our narratives, and bolster each other. Together, we can navigate this sea of despair and emerge fortified. Join us in this journey. Share how you have transformed your emotions for the better and draw inspiration from one another's experiences. Suppressing your anger is never the solution. Why do we stifle our anger? We endure societal pressure, concealing our feelings behind forced smiles and feigned agreement. Society dictates that we construct barriers, burying our emotions deep within, all under the guise of maturity. But can repressing our anger truly combat a narcissist's callous conduct? Is it healthy to be coerced into burying our emotions beneath a facade of false civility? It is time to reclaim what is rightfully ours, the freedom to feel. Suppressing anger merely exacerbates the issue, rendering us impotent, exposed, and defenseless. It is imperative to recognize that harboring anger signifies strength and fervor, not weakness. Let us refuse to be consumed by the narcissist's machinations. Instead, let us redirect our energy constructively. Understanding the narcissist's agenda, we realize their intentions are sinister, aiming to strip us of everything: our dignity, sovereignty, and self-reliance. They seek to plunge us into perpetual disarray, questioning our value and boundaries, and instilling fear of asserting ourselves. Narcissists aim to reduce us to mere doormats, driven by an insatiable hunger for power and a desire to maintain control. Their fear of losing dominance renders them formidable adversaries, threatened by our assertiveness and confidence. Utilizing a crude blend of intimidation and manipulation, they strive to assert authority over every facet of our existence, hijacking our sense of self-worth. It is crucial to rise above the desire for vengeance. While it is tempting to retaliate against the narcissist for the anguish they have inflicted upon us, such actions only serve to prolong our suffering and exacerbate our pain. Instead, we should focus on healing and personal growth. By acknowledging our anger and transforming it into a catalyst for positive change, we can prioritize our own happiness. This is the most potent rebuttal to the narcissist's cruelty. Living a fulfilling life despite their attempts to undermine us demonstrates our strength and resilience. We must always strive to channel our energy constructively. Revenge serves only to deplete our souls of the nourishment they crave. By allowing love to permeate our hearts and smiling through adversity, we can truly embrace the life we deserve. Share your stories with us. Let us embark on this journey of growth together. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you for joining us, and let us move forward with passion and love. Hi everyone. Today, we'll talk about an important but less talked about part of narcissistic behavior: how they act when you don't pursue them after a breakup. Have you ever thought about what happens when you stop playing their games of control? You'll see how angry and frustrated they get when you don't give them the attention and approval they want. Even though they treat you badly, they expect you to look for their praise. What will happen if you stop playing their game? Your silence shows their flaws and fears, which rejects their manipulative ways. We're going to talk about how much narcissists depend on how other people react and how strongly they feel when things don't go their way. We'll find out how weak and desperate they really are behind their cocky front. Come with us as we talk about how to deal with the power struggles and mental turmoil that come with narcissism. Before we go any further, let's talk about how important it is to keep supporting these conversations. Your comments, likes, shares, and subscriptions help build a community of people who understand each other and share useful information with people who might need it. Let's look at how narcissism affects relationships, especially how narcissists try to stay in charge when relationships stop. They plan to change the time of things to avoid being rejected, which helps them stay in charge of the relationship. Being aware of these behaviors helps us handle these kinds of situations with strength and clarity. Figuring out narcissists' habits not only helps us understand how they work, but it also protects us from being emotionally manipulated. Let's go on this journey together and try to get